Hey everyone, welcome back to the channel. Finally get to see my fat face. Today we are going to be upgrading this this Dell Inspiron. What is it? A Dell Inspiron 3670. There's all the shitty I/O it has. Alright, so we got that. And in this system we got a Intel i5 8400 6-core 6 threads. This configuration came with 8 gigabytes. There are some that have 12 or 16. You also have a PCIe slot right here for expandability, although with this rubbish 290 watt power supply you could probably only use like a GTX 1050 or 1650, one of those low power graphics cards. You have one slot of expandability for your DDR4. Then you have some more SATA you have 3 more SATA slots for more peripherals. You have one M.2 slot right there, another one right there occupied by 256 gigabyte M.2 SSD, and a shitty motherboard which you cannot upgrade. Which you can't transfer to like a modern PC case, just because it has that proprietary I/O up front, and it's gonna be super hard to find one that'll fit that. So with this build, I didn't want to go ahead and, instead of like trying to find a Dell specific power supply that was higher wattage, I wanted to actually just take all of these parts off. So I'm gonna transfer everything. I got a new motherboard, I got a GPU, and another stick of RAM, and we're gonna throw them in this sweet case that I was able to pick up on OfferUp for 50 bucks, and then the guy wanted $15 extra for 5 RGB fans. Dude, I'm jealous. This thing has a magnetic side thing. Meanwhile, mine is looking all crusty over here with that broken panel and stuff. But yeah, let's go ahead and start on this. So for the motherboard, I'm going to be using a 635M by ASRock. It supports 8th gen and 9th gen Intel chipsets, processors. Here are just all the specifications in case you want to see that. It's just like a super basic motherboard that I picked up on Amazon for $70. Alright, and for the GPU, I'm going to be using this Asus 1660 Ti. It's sort of like a like an OEM spec, because I don't know if I've seen this sold before. Yeah, cleaned it up because it was on this computer before, but I swapped it out with an RTX 2070 and it was super dusty, but it's looking pretty clean now. For the power supply, we're going to use this I believe it's a 500 watt power supply, right? That came in this pre-built. Alright, so here's the motherboard itself. Let's get this thing out. Gentle. Set this off to the side. So we got some pretty basic I/O in here. We got a nice, it's normal USB 3.0 ports, gigabit Ethernet, some cheap audio. That's more than plenty enough. Here is the motherboard itself. Fortunately, it only has 2 slots for DDR4. Yeah, but luckily it has an M.2 slot, so we will be able to transfer over that SSD. Right, now for the teardown of this monstrosity, I already went ahead and undid the 4 screws holding in this cheap power supply. Then of course we have to take off all our power connections from this main motherboard. So you just have one right there. What's nice about this case though is that it's really maneuverable, and everything's pretty easy to access. Then you just have another power connector right here. Pop, oh, wait, yeah. Then pop that out. See, it only has 2 cables leading up to it. Next, we're gonna take off this DDR4 stick of RAM. As you guys can see, it's an ADATA, just a rather cheap RAM. We're gonna need to get that SSD off. Let me see if I have a small enough screwdriver. I don't know if I'll be able to do that. If not, it's okay. I have like a spare SSD just laying around. Damn, what a stupid cooler design, man. Whatever. So let's see. I can go about this without breaking it. Okay, so you just wiggle this off. Alright, so there's some little tabs on each of the sides right here that are holding down to the stock CPU Intel cooler. Just throw that off to the side. Fucking garbage ass thing. It doesn't matter the orientation of which you disassemble these screws. Yeah, you just gotta pull on that. So yeah, the thermal paste on this is definitely dried up. Alright, so here's our beautiful little processor, i5-8400, 6 cores, 6 threads, clocked at 2.8 gigahertz. Now it's basically idiot proof because there's like 2 notches that line up there, you know? Alright, there's that. Perfect. Super easy. What we're going to do is take off 4 gigabytes that was in my personal system, plus these 8 gigabytes. And I'm going to put them on here just so we could reuse all those. So you pop it in until you hear the click on both sides. Same thing with this side. It's kind of idiot proof. Alright, so next is our M.2. Place that in there. Usually you're supposed to have a riser going up from there. Before I forget, don't forget to put in your CPU header on. I think we're just about ready to pop this into the case and then start connecting everything. So let's go ahead and move on to the case. Yo, I'm really jealous of this case just because it has this magnetic glass panel. And mine is all busted and just has like a piece of broken acrylic. So I could care less about RGB, but for this build we are using these Deep Cool RF 120mm. Damn, these are actually pretty high quality, man. Alright, so set the fans. So you got your little screws. There's no focus. So not today. Here's your little screws. Okay. Have little screws here. And here's my piece hole right here. Let's see, fine. So start off line right here. And get your screwdriver and start driving it in. There's a little resistance because I think I'm driving it into some threads. Alright. Yeah, it's better. So, alright, now it's time to size up the motherboard. This thing is tiny compared to everything else. So there's one there, there's one missing here. Alright, now for setting up the screws. It helps if you have a magnetic screwdriver. Alright, so with these you're going to go ahead and route all the cables that the PC case came with. So right there, luckily it they are already labeled for you. So right there it tells you like the names. If you get stuck, you could always look up on YouTube, on YouTube or Google to see which ones go where. We finally get to put in our freaking GPU, man. So let me take off the mount here. I already took off this little mount here, and then we are gonna allocate for, I think, 2. Let's see. So we'll test fit it. Yeah, so we're gonna remove 2 of those little bars. Alright, so here we go. Just gotta make sure you hear that click. And then you just add back these support, or you just add in those screws for that bracket. Yeah, see, that looks pretty clean, if you ask me. Somewhat professional, you know. Same here, except for the mustard cable power supply. I'm still gonna just route and manage some of those cables in the back, but whoever purchases this system will have a lot of room for expandability, whether it be a big old graphics card or just like swapping the whole system out later, or even swapping the motherboard. You know, there's a lot of possibilities. Alright, so we're back. I ended up getting a different CPU cooler because the other one was trash and it sounded like a jet engine. So there's obviously something wrong with probably like thermal paste. I don't know how old this graphics card is. The previous computer it was on, I don't know how long they owned it for, maybe 2+ years, I'm not sure. But look at our temps, Jesus, it's running, I'm not even doing anything on Modern Warfare, and it's at 1080p normal settings. It's already like thermal throttling, so what the heck. So we have to go in and change probably the thermal paste and see if that helps, because that is ridiculous. This is so easy to run now. Oh yeah, no wonder that thing was getting hot. This thing is freaking... That thing's solid, man. I don't know if you guys can see that. Let's see where we go with that. Damn. Alright guys, as you guys can see, we're maintaining 79 degrees Celsius here. We're running at about anywhere from 97 to about 120 frames per second at the moment. Memory wise, we're only using about less than 5 gigabytes, so it still has plenty of headroom there. CPU is running about 52 degrees Celsius, and RAM we're utilizing under 8 gigabytes, so this is more than ideal for a build under $500. As you guys know, the tower itself was like $80, and then I'll go ahead and leave the pricing of all the other components that I was able to find on a secondhand market like Offerup or Facebook Marketplace. So yeah, thanks for watching guys, and I'll see you in the next video.